Hi guys, it's Kurt here from Wheel Index, and today we're going to do a quick DIY on how to replace your headlight bulbs on your Golf 5 GTI. That's actually quite an easy job, and it's really simple for you to do this at home. Recently I got a little yellow icon on my instrument cluster showing that I need to replace one of my headlight bulbs. It showed as a low dipped beam must be replaced, and lo and behold, there was definitely a problem. So I'll show you over here. My headlights are on now, and this is the right hand side light, and as you can see, this low dip beam here on my left hand side is functioning, and the park bulb is also functioning, and here on the right hand side the low dip beam is actually it's actually off. So this is the one that we're going to be replacing, and we'll also be replacing this park bulb over here. And the reason I'm going to replace this park bulb is because the brightness on this park bulb is not the same as the one on the right hand side. This is a Goldwagon 10 Rand park bulb. You can actually look at this quality of the light, and I'll quickly show you the right hand side. So the right hand side, as you can see, I'll block this out, is actually quite a bit brighter, and that's because this is the OEM bulb that's fitted on the right. And yeah, the golden one is 10 Rand and the OEM one is 60 Rand. So I've experienced now recently that it's actually worth your while to actually buy the OEM bulbs as opposed to non-genuine parts, because you just get better light out of them. Okay, so here's the parts we'll be using today. This is the low dip beam. This is the one we'll be replacing, and we'll also be installing the park bulb, which is this one over here. So the first step involved is what you actually need to do is you need to remove your engine cover so that you can access this part over here, which is actually where this headlight needs to be accessed. Now, depending on if you have an aftermarket intake or not, or if you're working on the left hand side of the car or the right hand side, it really depends. But I've been successful working on these headlights by replacing the bulbs without actually removing the headlight assembly itself. So what I've done is I've really just removed my intake pipe, and now I'm going to proceed to actually remove the low dip beam, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so we've removed our cover now, and once you have access to the light that you're going to work on, the light assembly, what you need to keep in mind is that the pattern is to lock something is clockwise, and to unlock something is anti-clockwise. So the first thing we need to do is we need to remove this cover behind the headlight assembly for the low dip beam, and it's very simple. You just turn it anti-clockwise with your hand, and then this piece of plastic comes off. And that same pattern we're actually going to use to remove the housing of the bulb as well. So let's remove the housing. Put my hand in here. There's no connections or anything. You don't have to put the battery off. Just make sure the ignition is off and the lights is off, and then I just turn it and then I pull it, and it's that simple. And here we have the faulty headlight that is out, and as I mentioned, now it's just clockwise lock and anti-clockwise to unlock. And what we're going to do now is we're not going to touch the bulb, because it's just good habits when it comes to these type of things. So I'm going to just slide this guy off, and there we go. So I've removed the faulty bulb now, and over here you can actually see what the terminal looks like. So over here we have the brand new bulb. We're gonna pop this guy in, and yeah, let's go for it. So we're gonna do that. So we're gonna make sure that this gap aligns over there, that aligns. Okay, and then we're gonna get it in our terminal. I'm not touching the bulb, and then what I do is I'm just gonna press it like that, and then again there, and then it's in. And now to put this back can be quite tricky. So your goal is to put this back without damaging your brand new bulb. So you'll see over here there's some text. Let me get some light on it. There's some text over there that says top. So this text, you must be able to read that. This must be on top. And you're gonna have to fiddle with it a little bit, But yeah, as long as you can see this, you're on the right path to put this back. So if you can read this text top, obviously that's the top part of the actual assembly. That's how this thing goes in. So let's pop this guy back in. Very careful, making sure I can read top. Slide it in there. Okay, it's in. And then I turn clockwise because I want to lock it. Boom. It's that simple. So after we've reinstalled our low dip beam, what we're going to do now is we're just going to take this cover at the back and simply just put it back on and just lock it. So as you can see now, this is actually working perfectly. So I've installed the new bulb now, and the error is actually gone on the instrument cluster, and now I've got a brand new low dip beam. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to install the park bulb. We're going to replace this Goldwagon park bulb with an OEM one. Let's go. I'm going to proceed now to pop the park bulb out of the housing, and the park bulb doesn't turn. It's actually the only bulb that you actually just pop in and pop out. So once you have removed this cover at the back, which is located behind the park bulb, it's a plastic cover, just slides off easily. You get your hand behind the actual park bulb. It's got two wires, and then what you do is you just pull it back slightly. Okay, once you've removed the park bulb housing, all you have to do is you just have to get your hands on here and you just pull this guy slightly to the back. Very little pressure. And then you take your new bulb. It can go in any direction. Don't let the bulb fall. And then you just get it over there and slide it back in. And that's the process to install the new bulb into the housing. And all we have to do now is we just got to push this guy back. So let's proceed to push the bulb assembly forward. And there we go. Boom. You heard that click? That click is a sound that the park bulb assembly is very secure and tight up in the headlight assembly. All done. There we go, all done. I'm going to take this cover now, I'm going to put it back, I'm going to put my ignition on, put the lights on, and just make sure that everything is working hunky-dory. There we go, it's that simple. I've got lights again, I've got OEM lights, quite happy. You can see over here on the left, we have nice OEM low dip beam, and we have the OEM park as well. Although it doesn't look that much different compared to the Goldwagon one. I think there might be a problem over here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to proceed to put everything back together here that I took off with my intake system. And if you don't have an intake system, put your engine cover back on. My name is Kurt from wheelindex.co.za. I hope you've enjoyed today's easy DIY. Catch you back next time.